A really popular question that I often get is, who is Ayurveda for? What is it? Where does it come from? Never heard of it. Do I have to be an Indian to practice it? Will it be useful for me? Because I come from Europe, I come from Africa, I come from this other part of the world. So today's video is going to be all about that, and hopefully you'll get some clarity about how universal Ayurveda is from the stories that I share with you. Hi, I'm Supriya. Welcome to our YouTube channel at Seva Transformation Academy. We bring you weekly videos just with tips, advice, and stories to help you on your transformation journey. The thing is, culturally, it does get identified with an Indian background. However, if you look at the origin of Ayurveda, it is an ancient science that was developed in the 1500 BCE. So we're going back thousands and thousands of years where sages got transmission in their meditative state and wrote down some texts called Vedas. Vedas are ancient texts that we currently use in the form of religion, in the form of medical sciences, and even in spiritual practices. There were 4 texts like that, and one of the texts talked about Ayurveda, the science for life. Science for life looks at how to prolong the aging of the body that we're in, and also how to avoid or prevent us from getting sick from just common adversities in life, but also how to prevent major illnesses. So Ayurvedic science is actually ancient and is very universal, for the fact that back in the day when it was becoming more popular, a lot of people from all over the world were coming to India to learn this science, because this science had 8 branches and 8 branches of speciality in Ayurveda. So a lot of people from the world were coming to India to learn it and taking it back to their part of the world. So you'll find Ayurveda present in most of herbal medicine today, in all branches. However, to know the purest form, to practice it in the purest form is the most effective way. Why? Because its theory should not be misunderstood or overlooked if the person is to really benefit from Ayurveda. Why do I say that? It's because Ayurveda offers a pathway to self-realization. You've heard of the saying, I'm becoming a better version of myself. Ayurvedic mindset is all about, I am the best version of myself. Because it looks at how much responsibility are we taking for where we are right now, for where we want to go. It's the ultimate science that helps us tap into the law of abundance and mindset of abundance. It helps you look at what's around you, no matter what area of earth you're in. You might think, oh, but I'm British or I'm Indian and I don't have access to this food. But guess what? If you have the knowledge about what would be good for you, you will find that food anywhere you are, right? Because the framework and the categorization of Ayurvedic food and nutrition and lifestyle is very different. Everything is very intricately thought of that connects you back to being in harmony with nature. I'm skimming over the details because the details are just as much they are important. Sometimes details can confuse us because of so much information that we are already holding from the time we have explored this topic of health, nutrition, lifestyle, and what's right for us. So I'm just giving you an idea about why Ayurveda is so universal. It's because it is made for man to get in touch with his own nature, so that he can be and live in harmony with nature around him, no matter where he is on planet Earth. So as you can see, it can be very universal for this reason, because it doesn't demand that you have to be in India to be really benefiting from this science, or that you have to be Indian to actually benefit from it or understand it. Now, going into the basics of it, Ayurveda believes in everything, including ourselves, everything in nature coming from or composed of the 5 elements. Then it categorized further into doshas, which are 3 categories. One is vata, made of 2 elements, space and air. Second is pitta, which is made from fire and water. And kapha, which is made from earth and water. Now, why we do this is because we simplify it, we categorize it, because it has already identified that these elements are present in everything, including our own molecules and including the food that we eat and everything. The mindset of Ayurveda is that I am the best version of myself, and the goal is always to become the best version of yourself, never a comparison to anybody else, because it recognizes that the composition that you are from birth or conception is unique to anybody else. So you cannot be looking at anyone else to say, oh, you know what, I want to become like them, that will be the best version of myself. And it just doesn't believe in comparison. It just believes in, you know what, you have your own potential to become the best version of yourself, and these are the things that you need to work towards. Every dosha has its own quality: emotional, mental, physical. And it's very realistic. These goals are really realistic to work towards, versus unrealistic goals that the magazines and media have sold us, that some way we are going to be a certain way, that our build is a certain way, our looks are and features are a certain way, but we are aspiring to be someone else because we admire that other person. That comparison is eliminated, so the insecurities are also reduced to a lot, reduced completely. Why? Because you have no one else to compare yourself to but yourself and what potential you have in this lifetime. Let's talk about Ayurvedic lifestyle. It looks at how to optimize you. It doesn't tell you that you have to stop what you're doing. It is just going to remind you and make you take responsibility towards the goals that you have set for yourself. If you want to be a high achiever, high performer, then you are definitely going to have to back yourself up with good practices and habits that's going to support your energy and life force to be able to do the work that you want to do. Isn't it commonsensical? But guess what? I, like many others, spent a lot of years confused. I spent a lot of years comparing myself to others. I spent a lot of years being really confused by what messaging that I was getting while growing up. I thought I needed to be really skinny. I thought I really needed to have a high-paying job to live a good lifestyle. I thought I needed to be someone that needed to be liked by everybody else. But guess what? That all went down the drain as things happened to me along the journey. So on my journey, life journey, in the last 40 years, I've faced a lot of adversity, and I've been able to overcome them because of the shift in mindset that Ayurveda gifted me. Now, I've been a yoga teacher for the last 15 years, but while I was doing my yoga practice and progressing on my journey, I knew there was something missing in my daily practices, in my mind, in my inner knowingness, inner wisdom. And it came from the understanding that my nutrition was lacking in that understanding of myself. I was trying to always cut my weight down. I was always trying to be fitter, but not really eating or supporting my diet in the way to be fitter with my composition. There is a lot of way that we can change ourselves without having to change too much of what we're doing, because Ayurveda is very intuitive and always looks at how you will feel good. You will not be left feeling bad. You will not be feeling like, oh my God, I've left my old self and I've become someone that I don't even recognize. And that's the beauty of it, because the more and more you practice it, the more you're going to feel like you're getting closer to who you really are. And that's been the biggest gift and the best gift that I've ever received from Ayurveda. And that's what I impart to my trainees, my students and clients. Now, my main point in this video today was to really explain what is this question about. Do I need to be Indian to really grasp what Ayurveda is about? And is Ayurveda usable by anyone? Let me tell you a quick short story about myself. So I was born in Bangladesh. I was raised in a Muslim household in the first 6 years of my life. My father's Muslim. And then my mother, whose background was a Hindu background as well as being raised by Irish nuns, came from India. So after my first 6 years, we moved to India, and both these countries have very different lifestyles and diets and belief systems. Then later on, we moved to Australia, and it was another change in diet, lifestyle, and mindset, and the way to look at life. The various places on earth that I've lived in, it taught me that each place of earth, so Bangladesh, India, they had inherently practices that were Ayurvedic. But no one really knew what they were doing. They were just following what they had been taught through the ages. If I asked my mom, why are we doing this way? She would just go, I don't know, just do it. This is what works. Okay. But when we came to Australia, diet changed. A lot of the cuisines and the cultural dishes are really very different, and the lifestyle also is very different here. So what I learned from my Western lifestyle is how to be really independent. You're accepted for your independence, whereas in India or the Eastern countries, you're less independent and you follow your tribe of a little bit more. So you're more of a homebody, and so you do as your homebodies do or family does. For myself, being raised in West and East, one of the biggest questions I had was why? Why do I have to do this, or why do I have to choose that? Because something wasn't sitting right, and I was constantly in conflict when it came to actually having a good lifestyle in the West. The reason why I struggled a lot is because, having grown up in the West, I adapted to the culture very quickly. I was partying by the age of 16. I was doing a lot of things that the Western kids do by the age of 16, which is like drinking, smoking, partying, and all of that bad stuff. But it's also fun stuff, right? But the food also was very different. I was eating chips, cakes, and bread and cheese and all that. I'm not saying there was bad things, but the diet was lacking a lot of nutritional stuff. If you just look up Australian dietary guidelines and the deaths that happen through lifestyle habits, you'll see what I mean. So cutting the long story short, what I realized was I was missing something even when I started practicing yoga full time and started to follow a yogic diet. I thought that I was actually going to make more energy happen if I practiced yoga every day. But little did I know that yogic diet was also wrong for me, because it actually made me sicker. It made me anemic. So I had to ask the question, why? Because I love the Indian way, but then why am I doing what I'm doing? I needed to know why, so I could make better choices or more choices for myself than just follow someone else's footsteps like my grandmother. So moving forward, I realized that Ayurveda actually looks at the individual very closely, and it helps the individual make empowered choices rather than follow someone else's footsteps and just being on autopilot, because each path has its own perils, right? So like the cultural dishes, yes, we are attached to them because they bring us a sense of belonging, they bring us a sense of cultural colorfulness, and it's almost entertainment, isn't it? It's entertainment and a reminder and a connection to a cultural belonging, but it's not focused on nutrition or on a personal level. So you really have to figure that out. And the best way I've found, and that is so universal and makes me be more intuitive, is the Ayurvedic system. Enough said about this. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please leave in your comments in the comment box what you liked or what you would like me to elaborate on, or did I just rant on about nothing? I hope this video shed some light for you about how you too can adapt Ayurveda and learn about how it can be used in your life no matter what culture you come from. And I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your energy. Please show me some love by clicking the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends if you're wanting to also enlighten them on this subject of Ayurveda. Until then, see you next week. Have a lovely week ahead.